Yo, what's up? What's going on, guys? Um, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I think you can hear me. So today we're going to react. David is facing a death penalty here, and it was 6 days ago. I'm sure I missed it. But you guys know I'm kinda a bit late when I react to this video. I mean, this is my first reaction, so I haven't reacted to video before, but I'm good at talking when I react to videos. So yeah, let's get into it.
The criminal story of David is one that has dominated mainstream headlines for almost a year now. It was almost impossible
I actually listened to David back then in like 2023, 2024, something like that. But when I heard about Celeste, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I think he did something to Celeste. And that's not a good idea, to be honest, because that was a crime and stuff. You can see here there's a crime scene, so yeah.
to not at least hear a little about what had happened, starting out as a horrifying mystery when police found the dismembered body of Celeste Hernandez, and quickly becoming a
I told you it was Celeste.
disturbing case study into the depths of human depravity as more information about the alleged perpetrator, David, came to light. Even if you don't know any details about this case, you have probably heard this general information through cultural osmosis. Many don't know how crazy the story has gotten as it's developed these past months. So today, we're going to be covering the full timeline of the
Let me see how many likes this has. 40,000. That's a lot. Um, this video is for education and entertainment purposes. So, guys, if you see this video, just don't take it seriously. He's already in the court and he's facing the penalty. So that should be good because this guy is not a good good human being. He did something wrong. Even if he's not guilty, he should face the I'm not gonna say it.
David files, starting from the night of the murder and ending it with what we know in the present day. Quick disclaimer, this is one of the most disturbing topics I've ever covered, so viewer discretion is advised. With that being said, hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist, and today we're looking into the David files. On the evening of September 8th, 2025, David was in the middle of performing for a packed crowd, while at the exact same time, police officers in Los Angeles were being called to investigate a foul smell coming from an abandoned Tesla Model X that had been sitting in the heat for days. The vehicle had already been towed to an impound yard after neighbors complained about it being left outside for an unusually long period of time, and by the time officers finally searched it, the smell had become impossible to ignore. When they opened the front trunk, they found plastic bags containing dismembered human remains. The body had decomposed so severely that identification was difficult at first, but investigators were eventually able to determine that the victim was a teenage girl. She stood around 5'2" and weighed only 71 pounds. Considering how little remained and the state the body was found in, the condition shocked even experienced investigators. Before long, police identified the remains as belonging to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a girl who had been missing for roughly 17 months. Then came the detail that changed the entire case from a disturbing homicide into one of the most infamous internet crime stories in recent memory. The Tesla belonged to indie artist David. At a first glance, David seemed like the last person anyone would associate with a crime this horrific. He had no criminal history, came from a financially stable family, and built his
Okay, so here's my thoughts. So basically, I thought that he didn't do anything at first to Celeste, but as I found out that he has a Tesla on it with the disturbing smell and stuff. I'm not in the USA, I'm in Sweden. Yeah, just click my location, it doesn't matter. So, uh, when I found this out, I was like so shocked and disappointed. Not like much disappointed and shocked, but I was very shocked uh, when all of this stuff happened. And then I was asking myself, could this be David? And then they need to find evidence and information about him, and then like, yeah. And then they just found that it was him doing it, putting the bag in the Tesla, and then after that, he just, yeah, the situation keep happening, and after that, I don't know what to say, but if you guys understand, you do understand. But after that situation it's not a good situation he was in on. I mean, he was not a good situation. It was a bad situation he was in. And then when the cops found him, and he was pleading not guilty. Yeah, he was pleading not guilty. He was trying to get out of this situation and stuff. And if you know what I'm talking about, you're gonna see this video talking about it. So yeah.
Reputation online as a quiet former Fortnite player who turned into a bedroom pop artist almost overnight. And here's the detail that really sticks with people. The day Celeste's body was found, David was on stage. While police in LA were pulling bags out of the trunk of his Tesla, he was at a venue in Minneapolis headlining a packed show on the Withered tour. And he wasn't some nervous wreck up there. By every account, he was having the time of his life, hyping up the crowd, even tossing Labubu dolls out into the audience, telling them not to fight over it, and that it wasn't the last thing he was going to throw out. He didn't mention a word of it. He went on and performed again the very next night. From the outside looking in, it looked like business as usual for a rising pop star. Nobody in that crowd had any idea what had been found just 2,000 miles away. But within hours of the discovery, people began digging through years of his music, deleted social media posts, Discord messages, archived live streams, interviews, and music videos. As more information surfaced, a horrifying narrative started forming. It began to look less like David had randomly become connected to a murder investigation, and more like he had spent years openly foreshadowing exactly what he was eventually accused of doing. While Celeste's body was sitting in the trunk of that Tesla, David wasn't hiding. He was on.
So you remember the lyrics, guys? I think this lyrics is from Celeste when he said, "In the back of my mind, I killed you and I didn't even regret it." So digging deep into the lyrics is kind of behind the story when he was with Celeste, and I think that's why he got discovered. And yeah, sorry if I spoil a little bit, but I'm gonna make sure that you guys understand. So yeah.
On stage, he was in the middle of his first big headline run with the Withered World Tour, named after his debut album, a record he'd described as a goodbye letter to himself. And the staging of that tour
Oh, by the way, I have never watched this video, so don't blame me if you guys saying I watched this video, because I never did. It's my first time, so yeah.
is something people really only went back and studied after the fact. Fans walking into the venue were greeted by a coffin. There was a funeral wreath, white roses lining the stage, a portrait of David wrapped up in gauze representing a tormented alter ego he called Itami, and a guest book where the crowd was invited.
I wonder what Itami is. Pain, ache, sonar of grief. So it's a Japanese word of pain. So okay, so now we know what Itami is. Oh, sorry for that.
To write letters to the dead. At the time, fans read it as a moody, on-brand horror aesthetic. After September, a lot of people couldn't unsee what it actually looked like. And for a while, officially, nothing happened to him. Police hadn't named a suspect, no charges had been filed, and David was technically still a free man with a career. But the walls started closing in fast. Within days of Celeste being identified, Crocs and Hollister pulled him from a campaign he had been the face of just days earlier. Then, the shows began disappearing. First Seattle, then San Francisco and LA, then the entire European leg. Every date from Norway to Poland was wiped out and replaced with a note blaming unforeseen circumstances. His label suspended promotion of the album and
Wait, let me see. Oslo,
replaced
Paris. Wait, Paris.
then
what?
the entire European.
Okay, Cologne. Ah, that was in Sweden in October 4th. So he never went there because he was getting investigated. He was coming to Sweden, Stockholm. Actually, it's not gonna happen because it will never happen. And it was in October 4th, so we're in July now, and I think he's getting a lot of trouble, so it's not gonna happen. So yeah.
Leg. Every date from Norway to Poland was wiped out and replaced with a note blaming unforeseen circumstances. His label suspended promotion of the album, scrapped the deluxe release, and pulled the tour merch. And before long, he'd been quietly dropped altogether. The album rollout, the funeral tour, all of it just stopped. And David himself went almost completely silent and dropped off the grid. To understand how the situation escalated into murder, investigators and internet sleuths started tracing the timeline all the way back to 2021. In December 2021, he released one of his first songs online, and even from the very beginning, the themes in his music were unusually dark and strangely specific. His lyrics revolved around obsession, abandonment, jealousy, emotional dependency, and violence towards romantic partners. The speaker in these songs constantly feared being left behind and reacted to rejection with
You tell me what's wrong and be away for too long. You know I hate you when you're gone. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So basically, he was trying to speak about his loneliness and some of the pain he got, but also the situation that he's been on. And I don't know much about him, but I think he's speaking about that. And then he has got, I'm not gonna explain it, but if you know, then you know. Um, and yeah, after that, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but you guys find out later when I play this video. So yeah.
rage. At first, nobody cared, because dark emotional lyrics are common in alternative music, especially among artists influenced by internet rap and emo scenes. But after Celeste's body was found, people started revisiting these songs with entirely different eyes. Lyrics that once sounded edgy suddenly sounded disturbingly literal. One song included the line, "I think we both know who dies here." Another repeatedly referenced keeping someone from leaving. Others mentioned killing slowly, dying together, and becoming violent over betrayal. Then, there was one specific lyric that stood out above almost anything else. In a song released while Celeste was only 11 years old, David said, "Save your tears 7 years." 7 years later, Celeste would have turned 18. Investigators would later allege that David first met Celeste in early 2022 through Fortnite and Discord, when she was still a child and he was already close to adulthood. According to court records, detectives ultimately concluded the two first connected in January of 2022. Around the same time, Celeste's Discord account was reportedly created, which would have made her around 11 years old. As David's music career slowly gained traction online, his relationship with Celeste allegedly became deeper and more controlling behind the scenes. Former friends and Discord users later described how David surrounded himself with extremely young fans and frequently interacted with underage girls in private servers. Multiple people who knew him during this period claimed his behavior towards minors was not exactly a secret. One former Fortnite teammate later said everyone in their gaming group knew about Celeste, and that David would casually joke about it whenever people brought her up. One of the biggest turning points in his career came with the release of Romantic Homicide, the song that launched him from being a niche internet artist into mainstream success. The music video showed David standing blindfolded among candles near what appeared to be a dead girl, while imagery throughout the video implied a body being hidden away inside luggage. The video was uploaded on September 7th, Celeste's birthday. At the time, fans viewed all of this as stylized horror aesthetics, but in retrospect, it became one of the most heavily scrutinized parts of the entire case. People started noticing how often David's songs referenced killing women he loved, preserving relationships through death, and becoming enraged whenever a girl wanted independence or tried to leave him. As David became more successful, he also became more reckless. By 2023, he was openly bringing Celeste into live streams and online content. In some streams, she could be seen in the background while fans asked who she was. Whenever viewers pressed him too hard, David either deflected or became aggressive. At one point, after a live stream involving jokes about age and controversy, David panicked and repeatedly demanded moderators to delete everything immediately, yelling that all VODs needed to disappear.
Is there a media
I personally don't.
Yo, I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
Meanwhile, outside David's online communities, Celeste's family was desperately trying to find her. In February 2024, relatives began posting missing person alerts online stating that 13-year-old Celeste had
I'm glad that's censored, because if not, then this video is not gonna be uploaded, and yeah.
disappeared from Lake Elsinore, California. Her aunt and mother both posted publicly asking for help locating her. Police later discovered that one of the last people Celeste contacted before vanishing was David. When investigators reached out to him, he answered the phone and claimed he barely knew her, insisting he had only met her once and did not realize she was underage. That explanation immediately started falling apart. According to court documents, David also showed police a yearbook picture of Celeste during the interaction, something prosecutors later argued directly contradicted his claims about not knowing her age. Detectives reportedly visited his home for a welfare check, but were unable to gather enough evidence at the time to arrest him or remove Celeste from the situation. Only days later, Celeste returned home, but prosecutors now allege David continued almost immediately afterward. Court filings later claimed that after her parents confiscated her phone, David drove to Lake Elsinore and paid another middle school student around $1,000 to secretly provide Celeste with a replacement phone so they could continue communicating. And despite all of this, David's career was exploding at the exact same time. Speaking of legal matters, you may be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. Recently,
$1,000 is insane, dude. Like, when you get fined $1,000 about whatever the school is, and she was not there anymore, I might be wrong, but it's not. It's very serious situation. I'm telling you, because this is not okay. Like, all that he did right now was trying to do something wrong with Celeste, and after that situation, when she vanished and she's not found, it's all to David, all to him. Like, he did all of this. He just did all of this. I'm telling you. Like, that's why they're gonna face this thing. I don't know, but you're gonna find out soon when the video ends. So yeah.
a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their
Freaking ad.
platform's account 5, he had become a paused. You can use my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to take a short quiz to see if you qualify for the case. With that being said, let's get right back into the video. By 2025, he had become a global artist with collaborations tied to Fortnite, mainstream television placements, and appearances with some of the largest streamers on the internet. Songs were appearing in major shows, and huge creators were collaborating with him. To most fans, he still looked like a shy, awkward musician who wrote emotional love songs. But beneath the surface, prosecutors say the relationship with Celeste was becoming increasingly volatile and dangerous. Court filings reportedly describe escalating arguments involving jealousy, infidelity, and Celeste becoming increasingly unhappy with the relationship. In one text message cited by prosecutors, Celeste allegedly told David, "All we do is
One more. Okay. So this thing, I'm not sure what to talk about, but this is illegal thing to do because when she's underage, he can't do this stuff. You know what I mean? And that stuff that he did right now is actually insane, dude. Like, I'm telling you, this should not exist.
have and hang out. Man, I want more than that for myself." Investigators interpreted the message as evidence that she had begun resisting the fantasy and control prosecutors claim David had spent years constructing around her. The prosecution argues that tensions escalated dramatically in April 2025 after Celeste allegedly threatened to expose their relationship publicly. According to investigators,
Expose your relationship public. This is something else.
this threat arrived at an especially dangerous moment for David, because his debut album and major endorsement opportunities were about to launch, meaning public exposure of an illegal relationship with a minor could potentially destroy both his career and financial future overnight. Prosecutors
I'm just checking the time, guy, because I don't know what time it is, and yeah, whatever. I got a call from my graphic school teacher because I have graphic. Also, I'm gonna have a theory. Like, who cares about that? Like, yeah, I'm gonna help with that later. Let's continue the video. Stop talking, okay?
later cited this as evidence of financial motive connected to the murder charge. According to the timeline laid out by investigators, David allegedly sent an Uber to pick up Celeste from her family home on April 23, 2025. Records reportedly show she arrived at his residence around 10:10 p.m. Roughly 20 minutes later, David began sending text messages asking where she was, despite prosecutors alleging she had already arrived. Authorities believe those messages were staged in advance to create a false narrative suggesting Celeste never actually reached the property. From there, investigators claim David stabbed Celeste multiple times, including wounds to the chest and abdomen that later caused fatal blood loss. Authorities further allege that after committing the crime, David drove through Santa Barbara to dispose of evidence before purchasing supplies used to dismember the body. Those purchases included chainsaws, a shovel, heavy-duty bags, a body bag, and a blue inflatable pool, supposedly intended to contain blood, while dismemberment occurred inside his garage. Ironically, prosecutors argue that the very method David allegedly used to avoid leaving evidence instead created enormous amounts of forensic evidence. According to investigators, using chainsaws caused blood and biological material to spread widely throughout the garage, while also shredding the inflatable pool itself. Small blue plastic fragments consistent with the destroyed pool were reportedly later recovered alongside Celeste's remains. Even worse for the defense, authorities allegedly discovered the damaged pool still sitting at the property months later when police searched the residence after the body was found. The sheer carelessness investigators described throughout the entire alleged cleanup has led many observers to speculate about David's mental state during the crime and aftermath. Prosecutors claim he never properly disposed of the remains, never thoroughly cleaned the garage, never removed crucial forensic evidence, and continued driving the Tesla while the body remained stored inside the vehicle's front trunk alongside air fresheners meant to mask the decomposition odors.
Okay, so speaking of that, I'm so stressed of hearing that because this thing when he talks about bloods and stuff when Celeste or whatever her name is, it's not like I don't want to hear about this, but I'm just reacting to this video because I want to. But when he mentioned that he stabbed at Celeste and took her stuff to his home, it's actually insane. I was very shocked. Trust me, I'm very shocked about this situation because when he does that, when he does this stuff, and after that he just got investigated by the police or SWAT, whatever the heck it is. And that's a good reason because if he was there in the court, then they will notice that he did all of this stuff. And yeah, but like, I need to talk. Sorry if I keep posting, but I need to tell about this so that I don't get fully stressed and stuff. Like you can see some other YouTubers if you like. If you wanna watch me, that's a good thing too. And yeah, and also this ABC 24/7 live. I think I watched ABC before. Uh, I live there in America, so yeah, but I know what he's talking about. Don't worry. And he was reportedly last seen driving the vehicle, blah blah blah, or left him. He was driving his Tesla to get this stuff. I don't know what stuff it is, bags and stuff, into his Tesla, and maybe he just wrapped the thing in his Tesla. I'm not gonna say what it is, alright. But if you know, then you know. So, let's continue the video. I'm sick of talking.
He eventually abandoned the vehicle entirely rather than destroying it. Even more bizarrely, court filings reportedly state that David retained possession of numerous incriminating digital files. Investigators allegedly recovered explicit images and videos involving Celeste from iCloud storage and other devices, including content prosecutors claim depicts sexual activity when she was only 30 years old. Authorities reportedly seized approximately
Hey yo, I know what he's talking about. Bro, she was between. Yeah, but I'm not gonna talk about that.
40 terabytes of data connected to the investigation. Whether all of that material exclusively involved Celeste or included other victims has not yet been fully clarified publicly. The autopsy findings only intensified the public horror surrounding the case. Medical examiners reportedly concluded that Celeste died from stab wounds causing catastrophic blood loss. Her remains showed evidence of dismemberment, and 2 fingers were missing entirely, her left ring finger and her pinky. Internet users quickly linked that detail to a tattoo bearing David's name on her ring finger, leading prosecutors to suggest he intentionally removed identifying features connected to himself. She also had a matching tattoo on her right index finger saying "shh" that matches with the one David has. Toxicology results added another layer of disturbing speculation. While many substances tested negative, preliminary screens reportedly turned presumptive positives for MDMA, methamphetamine, and benzodiazepines. Experts
So here's what I think right now. The matching tattoo that she has on whatever the finger she has, maybe I don't hear it. It's the sh. It's the sh. I think that's suspicious because that's connected to him, and then he's gonna get investigated. So that's why he got investigated by police or whatever it is. Because when two stops are matching, then it's going to this person that's gonna get a problem for, you know. Let's continue.
Cautioned that decomposition can complicate toxicology interpretation significantly, especially because post-mortem fermentation can naturally produce ethanol inside the body. Still, some observers speculated that Celeste may have been drugged before the attack.
Bless you, proceed.
Though no definitive public conclusion has yet confirmed that theory. As prosecutors continued building their case, investigators also began examining the role of people surrounding David. Private investigators publicly suggested he believed someone may have assisted with moving or dismembering the body, arguing that it would have been extremely difficult for one person to handle alone. He also alleged that some individuals close to David may have received money in exchange for silence or cooperation, though those claims remain unproven publicly at this stage. Meanwhile, additional scrutiny fell on David's management team and professional associates after
There's been talk that they have this blah blah blah. Please do the right thing and take it on. Your parents are very worried. Bruh.
reports emerged that warnings about his relationship with Celeste had allegedly been sent directly to people working around him. According to private investigators, an email warning management that David might be connected to a missing 13-year-old was forwarded internally, rather than immediately reported to law enforcement. Although simply receiving an email does not prove criminal knowledge, critics argue it demonstrates how many opportunities existed for someone to intervene before the situation escalated into murder. There is one last strange footnote to all of this. After the raid, David broke his lease and cleared out of that Hollywood Hills home, the same house where prosecutors say Celeste spent time before she died, and where investigators searched the garage. Crews were photographed hauling everything out, and then, earlier this year, right around the time he was finally arrested, the house quietly went back up for rent. A fully furnished Hollywood Hills home with a private pool around 4,000 square feet, listed at just under $24,000 a month, and marketed as a peaceful luxury escape. Whoever signs that lease next probably has no idea what's alleged to have happened in that garage. Ultimately, this case with David seems pretty cut and dry when all the details are laid out. David had exhibited psychopathic tendencies and a fascination with gore even at a young
Are you serious? What have I been watching right now?
age, and clearly had issues for his entire life. He somehow got
Bro, there's one thing I need to say. He's completely sick, I'm telling you. That's not normal.
away with allegedly year-old, all while being at the height of his fame. It almost seems that when he allegedly murdered Celeste, he wanted to be caught. As Tony Soprano calls it, he got cowboyitis.
People do that shit, they want to get caught.
Oh, I want to get caught.
Yeah, you want to get caught. I've seen it before. That's fucking cowboyitis.
Or wanting to be seen as tough, or however
That's true, by the way. If you do something bad, you're gonna get caught.
you want to say it, by other people. He seemingly left clues like the Riddler throughout his music videos, and the fact he barely even disposed of the evidence that he allegedly left behind is proof that not only was he insane, but he was stupid too. David has officially been charged with first-degree murder with special circumstances, including lying in wait, murder committed for financial gain, and murder of a witness to an investigation. He was also charged with lewd sex with a person under 4 years old, and the mutilation of a human body. Since being charged, he has pleaded not guilty, and is being represented by a Hollywood legal powerhouse, Blair Burke, the same attorney that Harvey Weinstein hired back in 2017. The case isn't over yet, but if I were a betting man, I would guess that he will most likely be spending the rest of his life in jail. He might even be facing the death penalty, although that is a slim chance. At the end of the day, even if prosecutors took a slightly long time to gather all the evidence, it was for a good reason, and they made as airtight of a case as possible to try and ensure that he won't be going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, so that's the end of reaction. Alright. So basically, that situation is very insane. I'm glad that he posted this video because if this wouldn't exist, we would never know. Oh, sorry, I have gas. Okay, never mind. What's this? Yeah, Oliver Tree. Maybe whatever. So I'm gonna post more videos later, and sorry if I haven't posted a while, but like I hope I get more subscribers. Like and subscribe, guys, if you want to. I'm not forcing you guys, alright? But I see you next time.